Just how controversial was Louis C.K.'s monologue for SNL? So he was not only the guest, this was the 40th anniversary, this was the finale, so this was a big deal. And after the monologue, a lot of publications were saying that he went too far. A lot of people were tweeting that he went too far. For example, we have, wow, that Louis C.K. monologue was not only terrible, it was actually offensive. I thought Louis C.K. was not funny in his opening monologue and offensive with his racial comedy. SNL shouldn't have aired it. And then we also hear people who think Louis C.K. was offensive on SNL really have no sense of humor and are way too easily offended. I want you guys to take a look.
There's no worse life available to a human than being a caught child molester. And yet they still do it, which from you can only really surmise that it must be really good. I mean, from their point of view, from their, not ours.
All right, let's discuss, but first thoughts, 5 words or less.
Would have worked on cable.
Louis C. Yay or nay?
That's 2 points. Good job. Good
yes,
job.
I'm racking up the points.
Okay, so mine's simple, but it's relevant. I feel like what he's bringing up, you know, as far as race relations here in America, what he's bringing, and first of all, let me take that back because 40 years, right? He's here on the 40th anniversary of SNL, the 40th season, and he's looking at the differences between when SNL started in the 70s and today. And there are vast differences as far as racism, but really, mild racism is very important. It's a very important subject. Even if you're not overtly racist, mild racism can really lead to, look at Trayvon Martin. If George Zimmerman wouldn't have made that assumption that all young black males who are wearing hoodies are thugs, I don't even like using that term, but in that term, then Trayvon Martin would be alive today. Yeah. So I think that him bringing up that, as well as bringing up Israel and Palestine, as well as bringing up molestation and mental health, because with trauma and all of that today, I think at least we're having this discussion and this dialogue. What did you guys think about his bits, Francis?
So the first thing I want to say is I'm sick of people drawing the line of what is offensive and what is not when it comes to comedy.
That's offensive!
Like if you're having a general discussion, yes, some things are offensive that you shouldn't be talking about, but there's a certain shock value that goes along with being a comedian. And tons of people are every day making fun of themselves, making fun of races, making fun of everything. The worst, ideas of comedy that people will assume is that if because someone makes fun of maybe like something like cancer, it's horrible, it's a horrible disease. But that is what the industry is based around, is making these points to try and bring up something in a lighter aspect and maybe see people to see it in a different way and be surrounded with humor rather than anything else.
I think it's comedy. I think SNL had Louis C.K. on there for a reason. This is his brand. Anyone who's seen him in concert live knows this is what he does. He shocks you. He makes you kind of uncomfortable. I think that when you put that on a national platform where it's people who don't necessarily understand him, that's when people kind of get like riled up. But I mean, SNL wanted this because they put him on the season finale. The show should be over. No one's talking about it anymore. Instead, people are talking about SNL for the rest of the week.
This felt like you're watching a little bit of a stand-up routine. And again, we're having this dialogue. And even if it was overtly racist, is it better really to be silenced? Is it better for people to not have this conversation? Because I want to know why certain people feel that way. I think it's great to talk about mild racism. I think it's great to talk about all these different things. And I thought he did it in a fashion where we can look at it for what it is today, because that is our reality. We are living in it. So, I mean,
part of his comedy is to make you so uncomfortable in your head that you're thinking,
I wasn't comfortable.
You're like, oh my God, should I be thinking about this? Like, why am I thinking about this? In the mind of the people that consistently do this, what goes on in there? And that's something that you just mentioned, that maybe it's like, it's a mental health thing that has to be addressed more often than not. It is.
I mean, I just think that like the racism thing, how he set that up and how he set the Israeli-Palestine up with his kids, it's something that's a little more relatable to you. When you're a parent, not that I am, but like you're sitting there and your kids don't get along, they're on opposite sides, Israel and Palestine. Right. So this is something that's never talked about.
Right.
So it's just something that everyone's like, no, get away from. But that's the point of Louis C.K. is for him to bring up things
Exactly. And it wasn't comfortable. I was uncomfortable too, but I think it's great that we talk about it. And it makes you think. And that's how we evolve. So I think it's great. So, okay, so what did you guys think about Louis C.K.'s monologue on SNL? Please share your thoughts. I want to know what you guys have to say. And then also make sure that you follow us on Instagram at The Real Pop Trigger. We'll see you guys all next time on Pop Trigger.